Hey, it's Dianel. I haven't had many social interactions these past few weeks in light of recent events, and chances are if you've been doing the right thing, and staying home, you too are deprived of social interaction. But yeah, I've been thinking about the times I used to be outside and, enjoying life. And it made me think of all the strangers I've interacted with in the past and how odd these interactions were. In hindsight, they were actually pretty hilarious, but they were odd at the moment, and I wanted to share those on the internet, because why not? Okay, so this first one, I believe, was during winter break. I was on the train, I was going somewhere. I don't know if I was gonna, work, or if I was meeting a friend. Not the point, but the point is, I was on the train, I got a seat, I sat down, and then there's this man sitting right across from me, and there's this weird object under him. And me being the absolute worst overthinker and anxious person, the little voice in my head was like, oh my god, this guy has a bomb here and he's gonna poof all of us. Totally normal and justifiable thoughts, right? But then I came back to my senses and I was like, you know what, Dianel, there is no way this guy has a bomb on this train. And if there was, if he did, he wouldn't have it in plain sight. So calm down. So I calmed down. And then a few stops later, this lady comes onto the train and sits right next to me, all while looking at this weird artifact on the ground that I was also looking at. She's sitting down and then all of a sudden, she tries to talk to me. And I have my AirPods in, so I'm here trying to debate whether or not I am going to ignore her. But then I realized that's kind of, rude. So I take off my AirPod and I'm just like, what? Because I didn't actually hear what she said the first time. And then she was like, what is that? Pointing at the thing I was also looking at that I thought was a bomb earlier. And then I was like, I don't know, I was looking at it too. Thought it was some weapon of the sort that he was going to use against us. And then I actually go and take a closer look, from my seat. I didn't get up and squat right in front of this machine and look at it, but you get what I mean. I looked at it closer and then I was like, oh, I think it's just a fax machine, a very small fax machine or a printer. And then she was like, oh, well, as long as it doesn't blow up. And that's when I realized that I wasn't crazy and that I don't overthink everything. I mean, I do, but this one case, I wasn't overthinking it. She thought it too. So yeah, conflict solved. We're not dying. I put my AirPod back in, I play my music again, and then 5-6 stops later, she tries to talk to me again. I sound like such an asshole, and I don't mean to be, but one of my biggest pet peeves is when someone tries to talk to you while you have headphones in, you're clearly trying to block out the outside world, and you're focused on music, or a podcast, or a video you're watching. Something. So yeah, she tries to talk to me again, and in my head I'm just like, ma'am, I am clearly busy with my music right now. I thought we already established that we weren't gonna die, and I thought that was the extent of our conversation. But in real life, I would never actually say that to a person because I have respect. So again, I'm like, what? Because I didn't hear her the first time, and then she says it again. She's trying to make small talk, which great, is my second biggest pet peeve. So then she's just like, do you go to Columbia? As in the university? No. I'm flattered, but no. So yeah, that just prompts more small talk. She's just like, where do you go to school? When I told her I don't go to Columbia. And then she's like, how far that is, yada, yada, yada. And then she's like, I'm sorry to bother you. You're clearly listening to something right now. And I'm like, yeah. But in real life, I'm like, no, it's totally fine. And then she leaves. That's it. That was that encounter. Okay, so next encounter was also on the train. I was going home after a day of hanging out with my cousins in the city, and then I just sit down and get a seat, the regular. Actually, not the regular, because if you know anything about New York City, you know how difficult it is to find a seat, but it was nighttime, so the train wasn't that packed, so I got a seat. Not the point. Anyways, this man, who's about 50-something years old, sits next to me. More small talk. Great. A bit into our superficial conversation that we were having, he tells me that he was coming back from work. And said work was that he was a clown at kids' parties. Clown or a magician sometimes, but mostly clown. So yeah, I was having a conversation with a clown on a train in New York City. And if that doesn't sum up the city in a nutshell, I don't know what does. He wasn't wearing his costume though. That would have been funny, but he wasn't wearing his costume. Now, if you think you cannot get into deep conversation with a clown on the train, You are absolutely incorrect, my friend. Because Mr. Mans goes on to tell me about the types of songs they played at the events he was a clown at, and he talks about Old Town Road and Baby Shark. He talks about how much he hates Baby Shark, and I'm like, same, sir. And he also talks about Old Town Road and how he doesn't understand why Billy Ray Cyrus appeals to kids. And I think he was confused. I think he thought Billy Ray Cyrus was the only person on the track. Like, I don't think he knew Lil Nas X was the actual person the song belonged to, but that's besides the point. And then he goes, hey, have you seen the movie It? And I say, no, but I have seen the original one based on the miniseries from the 80s. He did not ask me, but I said that because I wanted to say that. And then I go, but I've heard of it though. And then he goes on to tell me that when that movie actually came out, he didn't get much work as a clown at parties because kids were terrified of him. So he would mostly just do magician work and stuff, which sucks, because I feel like he would much rather be a clown. Like, he never said that at any point. Like, he does the two, clown and magician, but I just caught the feeling from this man from the 10 minutes I talked to him on that train that he really, really enjoyed being a clown at parties, because he didn't really mention the magician part much. Like, he just said that as an introductory thing. So yeah, I feel like he was pretty bummed, when these kids weren't vibing with him and he had to do the magician job instead of the clown job, when really that's what he liked to do. I got to learn a lot about this clown's life, and I really hope he's doing well during these hard times right now. Okay, I saved the best for last. I promise you this is the most awkward and uncomfortable encounter I have had in my life to date. It was actually the same day as the clown guy, but it was in the afternoon. Not that it matters, but I just want to set the scene so we're on the same page. I was at Barnes & Noble with my cousin because we were waiting for my other cousin to get off so we could hang out together after her shift ended. Cool. So me and my cousin, we were sitting at a table reading books, and I was sipping on a Starbucks Frappuccino with my metal straw. Now, I know that might sound pretentious, oh my god, I have a metal straw, I'm saving the turtles, But no, actually, this metal straw is very, very crucial to this story. So after I finish my frap, I take my metal straw out of the cup so I can go wash it, because that's what you're supposed to do when you drink something that isn't water through it, because that's gross and it gets all sticky and stuff. So I take it to the bathroom, but before I got to the bathroom, there was a water fountain outside of the bathroom, so I decided to wash it there instead. Everything's going fine, right? Cool. So as I'm washing it, this guy comes out of the bathroom and looks at me, looks at the straw, and goes, "Can you give me that straw?" Huh? I didn't say that. I just smiled awkwardly, because what are you supposed to say to that? It was just so weird. And then I realized I hadn't really said anything after he told me to give him my straw. So I just go, why? Right? Pretty justifiable question considering the circumstances. And he says, and I quote, "It's good for cocaine." Now, I don't know what you would do in that situation, but I just stood there awkwardly, because what the hell? We are strangers. That isn't an appropriate thing to say to a stranger, because there was no context to this conversation. He just threw that out there. Maybe I'm not up to date with the social interaction etiquette, but I'm pretty sure that isn't part of it. I just start walking because, I'm done washing my straw and I'm done with this conversation. And the guy also starts walking because he's also leaving. And he keeps talking to me and he goes, "Do you do coke?" And I'm like, "No." So I start walking towards the table me and my cousin were sitting at. And he, at this point, is walking towards the escalator, which is a little far from where I was walking from. And then he screams, "Don't do coke, it's bad for you." I'm still so confused as to why this conversation happened and as to what was going on in this man's head. I feel like that's a good way to end this video, right? With a bang. But yeah, I hope you're doing good. stay home, stay healthy. Comment down below any weird encounters you've had with strangers. Please make them weirder so I feel a little better about myself. Make sure to like this video if you enjoy. Comment down below if you do coke. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, do that if you want to, but subscribe if you enjoy my content, and see you in the next video. Bye.